There are some people that I just won't necessarily forgive. My personal boundary that I have set was crossed. Why does that person even deserve my forgiveness? It's not that now I'm angry and I carry that anger. I don't feel like they even deserve my presence. I don't even feel like they deserve having conversation with them because I'm operating on a frequency up here and you're clearly down here, or you wouldn't have hurt me the way that you did.
I think forgiveness is when you can honestly say, they have no impact on me. I can't be triggered by the situation or an individual or whatever. I forgive you for what's happened. You cannot trigger my emotions anymore.
When I hear someone say, you need to go back to your inner child and give them a hug, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's not something they teach in school. It's not something that's normally talked about in homes. And I've heard you mention that before. The issue with me is I've never known how to fucking do it, what that even looks like. How do you even know when your child's fully healed?
Before you started this journey, did you know that you had to forgive the little boy from the past or heal the little boy in the past? I mean, it's not something you just commonly know, is it? You know, I told you this. When Kimmy died, God rest his soul, one of the first things that Sean said, we were sitting on the curb, and he looked at me and he said, don't ask yourself why. Never ask that question why.
I'm fucking tired, Ma. Jeez Louise. Well, cheers, Ma. Cheers. What episode are we on, Ma?
Oh my God. Is this 3 or 4?
3.
Okay. All right.
Episode number 3. Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Made for More podcast with your host, Zach Agurdo, and my beautiful mother, Mama Chrissy. Do you like that nickname?
I like it. Mama Chrissy.
Everyone's been calling you that. Calling you that. So we're 3 episodes in. We did the why we're doing this. We did episode 2 last week, which was, listen, last week's episode, Letting Go, was a deep one. It went on long. Let us know in the comments down if the episodes are too long, you want them shorter, you want them broken up. But we got some feedback. I mean, the episode just came out yesterday, and we've already got 3 questions from the audience.
Really? That's exciting.
And one of them was from your friend, and 2 of them were also submitted via email, which is cool. Again, guys, reach out to us. There's multiple ways that you can actually submit your questions or submit topics that you want us to see. One of those ways is going to be email. You can email us at madeformorecast@gmail.com, which 2 of those questions came in from. And then the other way is just leave them in the comments down on our YouTube, or you can directly DM us on social media. All of our socials are mfm.podcast. So I say before we hop into, I know I kind of went all over the place, but we're 3 episodes in. First one was the why we're doing this, letting go. And then today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. How you been feeling so far now that we're 3 episodes in?
I love it. I think it's awesome. I love it. How do you feel?
Oh, tired. I am tired.
I know it's a lot of work for you. You do all the heavy lifting.
No, it's fine. I mean, truthfully, I really do enjoy actually doing it because I go back and there's certain things that I'll rewatch or hear you say again. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Like I didn't hear it the first time.
Right,
it's almost like watching a movie a couple times. Like you learn something new every time. But yeah, episode 3, today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. And guys, This is
another hard one.
This one's going to be a hard one. It's also going to be super deep, but at the same time, I think this one is so important.
Yeah.
So important. But
you think it's more important than letting go?
Well, before we talk about it, because listen, I got some questions that I ask myself personally, questions that I want to ask you.
Okay.
I know you said you have some questions too, so this might be another long one, boys. So y'all get ready to strap on in. Get yourself a bag of popcorn. So what kind of tea did you make?
Turmeric. Mine is just black tea.
Normal black tea. Any honey or anything? No agave?
You have agave in yours.
Nice. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start with question number 1. And guys, remember, they submitted these questions about letting go. So 2 of them were sent via email. I'm going to go ahead and start with Miss Jasmine R. Questions about letting go versus losing myself. That's the subject, right?
Oh, okay.
Hi, Zach and Mama Chrissy. First off, thank you both. Your podcast has been helping me through a really rough season. That's awesome. My question is, what if letting go feels like losing part of yourself? How do you forgive someone when the pain changed who you became?
Oh, you take it.
I want to hear you.
No.
I'll ask it again. What if letting go feels like losing part of yourself?
Okay.
Answer that one first.
I mean, I think that happens quite often, right? Because what we talked about last time about letting go, there's a lot of times people don't let go because they want to hold on to, the anger or whatever. So it's easier for them to stay separated from someone that's like in a relationship, or if you're letting go from a substance and you're just so used to using that to help you get over a hard time, or if you're letting go of like we talked about, like the sadness of losing someone. I mean, I think you feel like you're losing yourself more in a situation when you are letting go in a relationship, because a lot of times if you have to let go in a relationship, it's because probably something went wrong, right? And so, and again, we talked about feeling like that person might have gotten one up on you. And then you're like, oh, I'm not going to let them get away with that, or I'm not going to let them have one up on me. So, I think I think it's another exercise of letting go, right?
Yeah.
So you have to let go of the fact. I mean, and a lot of times if you feel like you're losing yourself, it's probably just an illusion from the pain and the hurt.
Oh, yeah.
So I would recommend asking for help to release that, and ask for help and the strength to learn from it, because whatever the situation is and you feel like you're losing yourself, okay, well, let's just say you are. Let's pretend you are losing yourself. Well, then you might have to ask for the lesson in the situation. Maybe it's not a bad thing that you lose yourself. If you have to let go of a bad relationship, you probably picked wrong. I mean, you can't always blame the other person if the relationship goes sour. You have to look at yourself and go, what did I do? What do I need to do differently? So then you have to let go of that person that picked incorrectly. I know that was long.
No, I think it was a very deep, it's a deep question. It deserves a deep answer. I won't go as long in that, but one thing that I love, and I absolutely love this quote. So the question, what if letting go feels like losing part of yourself? Well, basically, short answer is you can't find what was never lost.
Oh, wow. Look at you, Mr. Wisdom. I love that.
I truly do believe that, right? It's like, what's the opposite of finding yourself? You had to have been lost at one point, or been wondering or searching like for something, right? You can't never find what was never once lost. So how do you find yourself if you never felt like you were lost at one point? It goes back to kind of what we talked about in the beginning, the yin and the yang. There's no light without dark. There's no rain without sunshine.
That's a really good point. I love that.
So that's
a very good point.
And then how do you forgive someone when the pain changed who you became? I'll say this, like, here's the thing, if that pain changed who you became, I'm praying that it changed you in a positive light.
Right.
Because then you would, again, I'm speaking for me, in my opinion, and from my experience, that pain was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Sure.
Right? Like, we can go through the list of all the most painful things. And again, we know my lessons are physical. So there's literal physical pain that I felt and have dealt with. But without going through that, I would not be here and I'd be able to be the man that I am today. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. I think that's right. I mean, if the pain is unless the pain is so deep that it breaks you down and it destroys you, then that's not good.
Well, this is what she said here right under her question. I feel like I'm trying to forgive, but every time I try to move on, it feels like I'm abandoning who I used to be.
Well, you know what? Maybe you're supposed to abandon who you used to be, because obviously it didn't work. So I would, the way I view it, and again, I'm not trying to say that any of this is easy, but if you're abandoning who you once were, there's probably just reason for that, right? You're probably, 9 times out of 10, if you're letting go of yourself, it's probably because it was justified. You needed to let go of something. It's okay. It's okay. You know what? Reinvention is not a bad thing. How many times have I said to you?
I've reinvented myself 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
Yeah, Dad says the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, how can you live without I can't imagine if I was the same person I was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
One of the things Dad used to say, he said, if you're in the same situation and you're literally the same person 5 years from now,
yeah,
that like you might need to consider making some changes or something.
I think that's amazing, right? I think that's very brilliant.
Yeah. So thank you, Jasmine, for that. Let's go on to Marcus A. And it says, hey, Zach and Mama Chrissy, I've got a question. I've been scared to even ask people around me. How do you forgive a parent who never apologized or probably never will?
God, that's so hard.
Okay, so look, that's forgiveness. That's more like a forgiveness question.
I think it's both.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's both.
Go on.
Because, I think you have to let them go first and then you forgive yourself for whatever the situation is, right?
This podcast is going to be so fucking good because I have so many questions about that particular one.
Forgiving yourself, yeah.
But not... Yeah, we'll dive.
So I feel like, first of all, I'm sorry, Marcus, that you had a parent that treated you terrible. That's awful because I can't even imagine. But the older you get, the more you learn. I mean, how many people have we met? And I said this to you many, many years ago. The older you get, the longer your journey goes, you're going to realize how many families out there are really not, they're really kind of not, the parents aren't the greatest. So be thankful.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So I'm thankful too, right? I'm very thankful. But
people think that our relationship that we have is not normal. It's weird.
Well, that's because most people live in the shit than they do in the good.
It's true.
I mean, so yeah. And I think a lot of times people it's not very often that you find a parent son or parent daughter situation where the parent is, one of the things we talked about the last time is how much your dad and I have always let you just be who you are. Like that's one of the most important things. Hard on us because we had to watch you run into walls, but it's, that's just life. But anyway, we're getting off track. So for Marcus, how do you let go of a parent? I think you just have to, in my opinion, I would say try and work on understanding why you felt like they were not a good parent. And then ask, again, I keep referring to asking for strength. I mean, I just keep saying that because that's what I've always had to do. Yeah. Whenever you have to let go of something, it's not easy to do. Ask for the strength to do it. You'll find it. It might not happen tomorrow. It might not happen, right away, but it'll happen. You just have to.
And he says in here, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to be better. Oh God, this episode is going to be so good because he says, but the little boy inside me still hurts. Nobody talks about this stuff. So I'm hoping you guys can break it down. And that is literally what we're going to be. That's crazy. That is insane.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to learn that with myself too, right? Like a lot of the reason why certain things are happening in my current life is because of the little girl that didn't get whatever.
So Marcus, look, keep watching because listen, I have some personal questions that I'm going to ask you. I want some answers for myself because I'm struggling with that too.
I'm feeling the pressure.
Yeah, no, you better. It's on today. This is going to be a deep one. I'm excited. All right. Well, Marcus, thank you for that. And then last but not least, YouTube comment from Marianne Foster. Question for Zach. Oh, shit. You talk about the body count.
Oh.
Would you want your daughter to pick or be with the guy with a lower body count or higher body count?
That's a good one. I love that.
Oh, my Lord. All right. So, fuck.
I mean, because you said
I know exactly what I remember. Now, personally, for me, her being my princess, like, I would want a man who has a lower one. Now, the reason I was more or less talking about, like, I think...
How you just
shit the bed. It's okay. For me, Marianne, It's like, obviously, I don't want her to be with a guy who has fucked around with multiple women. Reason being is because you don't know what he's done, where he's been. He could have kids out there, diseases, whatever, and that just does not sit right with me. But I mean, I had this conversation too as well, that there's certain people that I would have never been in relationships with, or never been like the man that I am if I didn't have those experiences. It goes back, like, if I've never been with a female, never seen a female, know how to talk to them or even treat them, like, if I finally get one, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd shit the bed. So, but then I'm contradicting myself, right?
Well, no, I mean, let me help you out a little bit. If they've been a player and treated women poorly, then I would think not. You wouldn't want her to be with someone like that. But I mean,
is a person with a high body count a player, though?
I mean, it depends. Some are players. Some are players, and that's all they want. They just want to fucking go, right? But if you end up, but you know what? At the end of the day, who cares? The past is the past.
That's true.
Let it go.
I think that question alone.
It's a good one, though.
It is a really good question.
One for you to think about.
But I think like, even that's a typical relationship question. Like, oh, how many people have you been with?
No, it's a terrible question.
Why?
Who cares? Who cares? The past is the past. It doesn't matter. I mean, you know what? Look, if she's a little hussy, then who cares? I mean, I've told you that.
No hussy.
So you know what? Women, lie. Lie.
Advice from Mama Chrissy herself.
Yeah, I mean, look, why? I'm sure men do it all the time. If a woman says, "What's your body count?" and you say 500, she's going to be like, "Oh my God, you're a total player." First of all, my recommendation: don't ask the question. And then, second of all, if the question's asked, lie. I'm sorry. Just fucking lie. I think you're good for a female. I think you're good to stay between 2 and 5. If you're a man, stay between, like, I don't know.
Would you tell the guy to lie?
Yeah, I just did. Lie.
Oh, I thought you were saying only for women.
No, because if a guy's like 500, no woman wants to hear that. Fucking lie. Don't tell a woman you've been with 500 women.
That's Have you seen the woman? I'll literally show you when we get off. It's crazy. There's a woman who broke a world record for sleeping with 1,000 men in one night.
That's disgusting.
It's fucking.
How do you even do that? Like how I don't want to talk about that. Go on to something else. That's disgusting.
All right. So episode 3, we're talking about forgiveness.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm so excited. And going back to Marcus's point, I kind of want to start off with why does no one talk about the inner child or having to heal that inner child?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe because they don't know that that's where it starts. Right? I mean, I don't think that that's something that people commonly know about, right? So I think unless you're starting down this journey and you're really trying to learn how to heal, I think it's hard to know that there's an inner child that you have to heal. Because people just think you got to, I mean, before you started this journey, did you know that you had to forgive the little boy from the past or heal the little boy in the past?
Well,
it's not something you just commonly know, is it?
Yeah, no. It's not something they teach in school. It's not something that's normally talked about in homes. Well, I mean, obviously, you and I are like very different, and I've heard you mention that before.
Yeah.
The issue with me is I've never known how to fucking do it, what that even looks like.
Sure.
How to know, and one of the questions in here is, how do you even know when your child's fully healed? Like, there's just so much that goes into that particular question. And I mean, like, so do you think the pain that we carry as adults is from our inner child?
Sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine if you were a little boy who was abused, right? Or you were talked down to and you were told, you suck. You have, you're not good at anything. And like, what if your dad said to you, you're the worst goalie in lacrosse. You're terrible. Mm-hmm. And we call you Panda, not because it's out of love. It's because you're just dumb and pandas, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if that's how you But I'm being extreme, but imagine if that was the premise of your upbringing.
Yeah, that would hurt.
That'd be terrible.
That would
and
really
then you'd
hurt.
have to overcome that. You'd have to figure that out. I mean, you'd have no choice but to move on, but that's all part of the letting go and, healing that little boy. I mean, that would be a terrible way to grow up. A terrible way.
So what is the difference between forgiveness and letting go?
Well, I think forgiveness is when you can honestly say they have no impact on me. Like I can't be triggered by the situation or an individual or whatever. I forgive you for what's happened. You cannot trigger my emotions anymore.
Yeah.
That situation is not triggering for me,
Mhm.
right?
I love the saying that goes off of that. Like, you're basically saying your actions don't control me anymore.
Right.
And I love the saying, and I heard it recently, that he who angers you controls you.
Right, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're still being angered by someone, then you haven't forgiven them. I mean, like, that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it. Like,
Repeat that. What'd you say?
if you're still angered by someone,
Mm-hmm.
you probably haven't forgiven them.
So one of the things that I battle with is I can say I forgive that person, but I still am angry because of the hurt that they have caused. So have I not forgiven that person?
Well, I don't know about
Like, let
that.
me ask you this, right?
Uh-huh.
I hear people that will say, like, I forgive the person who murdered my family or
Yeah.
killed my
I
thing.
was just going to talk about
And
that.
I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah. I know. I don't
how?
know that I could either.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There's
I know.
just no. There's absolutely no way.
But I hear you and I agree. And I think it would be very difficult. But think about what would happen if you didn't. You would think about how much that anger would fester and it would ruin your life. It would fester inside you and you'd be so angry and it would be triggering and it would destroy you. It would destroy you as a person. So I understand it. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that, I don't get that. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense because it totally does make sense. What you said, what I'm saying is it would be something that I would recommend working on if that happened because it will kill you. It will destroy you. Yeah, I know.
That, like, when I've seen that, like, not me personally, but I've seen stories about that,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, how?
I know.
Where does that type
I
of
know.
strength come from?
Oh, sorry. I don't. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I truly. I don't know. I mean, that is literally the strength of God, right? Just you would have to really pray and ask and pray and ask for that the strength to forgive something like that. Honestly,
So why should I forgive some people who crossed my personal boundaries, but then for some other people who've crossed those personal boundaries, I just won't be able to forgive? Example. If something were to happen between you and I can forgive you for what was done.
I'm going to interrupt. I think that would depend on what it is.
You think?
100%.
Hmm.
If
I
I
don't
did
know.
something to McKenna that you didn't like,
Oh, that's, yeah.
or let's just say if you get in a relationship and I mistreat your wife, girlfriend, or whatever, think about how hard that would be to forgive me for. You'd have to really, yeah. I know that you would want to, and you think you will. I'm sorry, I
I know
keep
we're
kicking
playing.
you. No. Sorry, it's because my feet are on jacks. Um, yeah. I mean, I appreciate that, and I know you think that, but I don't know.
That personal boundary was crossed, like,
Yes,
big time.
yes, it was
So why do
not
they?
between me and
Yeah,
him.
no. So again, right? Like, my personal boundary that I have set was crossed.
Yes.
Why does that person even deserve my forgiveness?
Well, again, it goes back to it goes back to how that anger festers inside of you.
Well, what if I just say fuck them and I'm like,
Well, maybe
be gone?
All right.
Like,
Well,
I want no. We can. There's
I
certain
know.
scenarios. I mean, where I'm
I
just
agree
like,
because I don't know that I can forgive them either.
and I'm not even necessarily on that, but more or less along the lines, like, there are some people that, like, I just won't necessarily forgive because that boundary was ever crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not and here's the thing. It's not that now I'm angry and I carry that anger.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they even deserve my presence.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I don't even feel like they deserve me having conversation with them because I'm operating on a frequency up here and you're clearly down here.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't have hurt me the way that you did.
Yeah.
So you don't deserve.
Well, I mean,
that's my opinion.
Yeah. And well, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that if you're able to carry on and you've let that go, I think letting go is a form of forgiveness. Mm-hmm. It's not the same, but I think it's a form. I mean, some people have to forgive to let it go. If you can let it go without forgiving, look, sometimes there is something, I mean, I agree with you. I think there are some things that happen in life or people behave in a way or someone does something to you. You know, and you can't forgive. I'm not so sure that I can. I don't know that I would blame you. But if it's triggering you,
then it's different.
Then that's different. If the behavior is triggering for you and it's making you react and behave in a way that's not in your best interest, then I would recommend that you work on it.
So am I forgiving them for crossing that line, or am I forgiving myself for letting that line be crossed?
Oh, I think both.
What's the difference?
Well, I mean, because one is forgiving them and the other is forgiving yourself, right? And I think it's important, in my opinion, because I'm going to be selfish, I would say forgive yourself first.
Okay, so you answered one of them. Yeah.
That would be the one thing that I would say was most important.
What do you think people struggle with more, forgiving themselves or forgiving others?
Themselves.
Really?
I think it's harder. Yeah, I think because a lot of people don't have the self-confidence and they don't feel worthy. Sure.
Where does that stem from?
Well,
does that stem from childhood and just society?
I mean, it could. Yeah, I think it could come from.
Did you ever battle with that? Like having to forgive yourself?
I think that I've had to forgive myself, I think sometimes I think back to some of the things that I might have done and the way I behaved. I mean, look, I'm not perfect. So I look back at some of the things that I might have done in my life and have said, okay, it's all right. So you screwed up. Big deal. Move on. I don't mean big deal because that's disrespectful, but I mean I mean, sure. There's absolutely, I've had to forgive myself for things. Yeah. I'm not perfect.
What's one of the hardest things that you've had to forgive yourself on? Oh, shit.
I don't know. The hardest thing I had to forgive myself with.
Or is there something that you're still trying to forgive yourself?
Sure. I mean, I keep referencing my mom, I have to give myself grace because I keep talking about that, right? Like, I wish I had behaved differently or I had done things a little differently with her. And I know that it, I had my own personal feelings about where she was in life. So, I have to forgive myself for that. Yeah, I have to forgive myself for that. Sure.
So, I mean,
and that's not been easy. I mean, I think anything that I might have done now that my family's gone, right? And I mean, not my whole family's, you know, I have you and a brother and niece and nephew, but, extended family, not extended family, but my family, most of my family's gone. I reflect back more now. And I think we don't do that much when we're interacting with folks. I don't think we think about, oh, I might have done that wrong. But once they're gone and you can't have a conversation with them anymore and you can't, I can't pick up the phone and go, you know what, Mom, Zach and I had an interaction today and it made me think about blah, 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 blah. And, maybe I could have done it a little differently. And I'm sorry for that.
Do you think, I know we're kind of getting off, but do you think that is one of the hardest things about them being gone? Or what is the hardest thing about them being gone? Just not being able to talk to them?
Yeah. Not being able to talk to them, not being able to spend time with them, I think not being able to share our current life with them.
Yeah.
Because we have such a good life,
But they're here, don't you think?
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, last night someone was here. know what the hell that was. Jesus.
Holy shit.
But yeah, no, I definitely think that, I definitely feel like we have, our spirit benches around us for sure, all the time. So I definitely agree with that. Like, but it's different. You know that, and you go, oh, that's nice. It's easy for someone to say, oh, well, they're watching over you, or they see how good you're doing, or whatever. But it's not the same as someone walking in the front door and,
being able to hold them, share, call
and
them.
just being like, it would be nice for, Grandma and Grandpa Bob to be able to come here and see this house and see our life and see McKenna and see, we've got a nice life here, the things that we do, and, share all that with them. I know they see it, but it would be nice. Like, wouldn't it be sad if you couldn't share what your experiences were with your dad and I?
Yeah. No, I mean, it most definitely would. I think I would have some peace, though, knowing that they're around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think that's
what helps with the letting go.
Yeah.
And it also helps with the forgiveness, because I walk around the house and I'll just be like, oh God, gosh, Mom, sorry.
Really?
People must think I'm crazy. Oh yeah. All the time. All the time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. All day long.
Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry. I bumped into you.
No, not that. No, but I mean, like, I constantly will tell her, I'm sorry. I wish I did this differently. Sometimes I talk to, I'll even talk to like Kelly sometimes and be like, I wish I could have been a better friend, or
a better friend.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you just think that way. Like, what
now,
could I have done? Or even like Sean.
But is that guilt? Because I think that kind of ties into this, right? Like, I think it's hard for people to forgive because they're carrying so much guilt.
No, I don't have guilt. I really don't. I don't feel guilty. It's not like I'm like, oh my God, I was a terrible friend. I wasn't. I just think back to certain things, like, her wedding on her first dance with her newly married husband. I show up and on the dance floor with her, and I'm like, I love you guys. I mean, I like to be able to tell her I'm sorry for that. I mean, I've told her that in person too, but you know what I mean? Like,
were you drunk? Yeah,
yeah.
Well, that's what the slurring was. That's so hilarious. Sorry. Oh my God.
I love you guys. You guys are the best couple ever.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
I made a total ass of myself at Bethany's wedding.
You've had to forgive yourself for that?
100%.
And her?
No, I don't forgive her.
Sorry, Kelly. Sorry, no.
I mean, no, we laugh about it. She and I will laugh about it. She's one of the most forgiving, understanding people in the world. But
what have you learned the most within yourself about forgiveness or forgiving others or yourself? It's been like one of the biggest takeaways.
Yeah, I think it's just a powerful tool, and it's freeing. It's just like letting go. I mean, when you're able to say, I forgive you, or I forgive myself, it's a freeing, that, right? Like, think about, remember that day you referenced this in the last thing when we were in the car and I said, Zachary, you need to forgive yourself, and you've worked on that. I mean, how do you feel after that?
I feel like I've gotten better with it, but and it kind of what I was going to ask right back at you is I feel like I've given my current self, but I haven't forgiven the inner child. So I kind of wanted to ask, like, to answer with a question, essentially, like, do you feel like you have to kind of forgive a childhood self first before you can actually forgive your adult self?
I don't think it matters. No, I don't think it matters. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe the experts would say something different.
Why do you feel that way?
Well, because I think that it's a process, right? Like, and I don't think that there's a rule book on how you do it. I don't think there's a rule book on anything. Any of this that we've talked about, I don't think there's a rule book. I don't think that we have to do step 1 before we do step 2. I think everybody's journey is different. I think everybody's scenario is different. I think that if you want to forgive yourself for behaving inappropriately last week, well, then do it. You still might have to work on forgiving whatever your behavior when you were a kid. I don't know.
Is one more important than the other? Because
no, I don't. I mean, again, I don't think so.
Well, the reason I ask that is because if you haven't forgiven that inner child, then you're the way I visualize is similar to, like, put it in the red wagon and carry it along. Like, you're just carrying that shit with you.
You are, but you also have to remember that this is a process. This is you're not going to do all this overnight. You're not going to wake up one day and go, okay, today's the day I'm going to work on forgiveness. So step one, my 12-year-old self, or, step one, my 9-year-old self, when I drank milk and passed out on the floor, made my mother go in no, I don't think I literally believe that there is no process. There's no rules. We do this in whatever way we want to, in whatever feels best for you.
So this is a deep one.
Oh, geez.
It's a personal one. I want it. I want it. I really give me don't hold back.
Oh no. What is it?
What is something that you see being my mother that I haven't forgiven myself for?
Oh, I think all.
Or that I need to forgive myself for, and I
think
haven't.
all of your behavior in the past.
You don't think I've forgiven myself? Okay, so now we're having this conversation about forgiveness. What do I need to do?
I think you just need to understand that you were a kid. I mean, it's not like you were a bad person or anything. I mean, you had, but you know what? You weren't murdering anybody, and you weren't, you weren't hurting people. And but
you were hurting.
It's different. Oh, kids always hurt their parents. That's what happens in life. I mean, McKenna's going to break your heart in 5,000 pieces, every day. I mean, I just think that, it's not like you were out like pulling guns on people and, taking their car or breaking into their houses. I mean, it wasn't anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like a lot of it. Yeah. Was the stuff great? Did you behave the way we would want you to behave? No.
So if it wasn't that bad, why do I need to forgive myself?
Because it wasn't, that you're better than that. You know that the man you are today is better than that. And you know that you want to raise your daughter to be better than that. And in order to do that, you have to reconcile with what's happened in the past, I think.
I just don't get how. Like, it doesn't make, like, I've asked this before. What the fuck does that even look like? Like, do I close my eyes and like,
I
understand there's no thing, rule. But I think I just overthink it.
Yeah, well, you do that with everything.
But I don't, like, when I hear someone say, you need to go back to your inner child and give him a hug. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Are you serious?
I can see you up in the Zen room like, okay, Zach.
But that's like, that doesn't work for me.
Okay, then don't do that.
It doesn't work.
I think that you can start with saying, all right, pick something that you might have done that was that wasn't appropriate. Pick something that you're comfortable talking about. Just pick something.
Pick something that I'm comfortable with talking about that I did as a child.
Yeah.
God, like, that's the thing. That's okay. Here's the thing. I don't regret any of it, though.
Well, I'm not talking about regret.
Okay, but like, that's the thing. I don't think. See, I don't know, because I genuinely.
Okay, so I'll pick one.
Go for it.
All right. Now this is a stretch, and it's kind of crazy, but it just comes to mind. You were in kindergarten, and you weren't behaving right, and you kept getting purple notes, right? You know the story.
Where would I rip?
And you got 5 bajillion purple notes, and they had to come home and be signed. And the teacher asked me, Miss Agerto, why has Zach given you the purple notes? And I'm like, what purple note? And it was, here you are in kindergarten, right? This is the kind of shit that you started off very young, right? Where I'm headed with this is no big deal. The purple notes is not that big deal. I mean, we found the purple notes. They were stuffed under the seats on the bus. But the bigger issue to that story is the lying. You started lying at a very young age, which you even caught McKenna doing at a very young age, right? And people could go, oh, kids lie. And they do. Kids lie. Did you eat that? No. Did you sit there? No. Did you, whatever. You were our mastermind, and we'd create elaborate stories and a lot like I could say that chair is gold, and you'd go, no, Mom, it's purple. And we would discuss it. And that chair is fucking gold. No, Mom, it's purple. So then I'd go, Zach, you're lying. I know you're lying. And we're just going to move on. Right. But I know that sounds silly, but that is a thread that carried through your life, right? The lying, the manipulated, you lied a lot. You did a lot of you had a lot of manipulative behavior.
So where did that come from? Because you're the most truthful, blunt, straight up
I don't
person.
know. I mean,
does it
matter? Does it really matter where it comes from?
Well, I think if you can't find the source of the problem.
Well, how about the source of the problem is you?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's just who you were at that.
Ain't that the realest shit?
You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to be taught that. I mean, did you teach McKenna how to lie? No, she just lies. McKenna, did you taught her to lie?
No. I didn't teach her to lie, but I think like if you're seeing that type of behavior.
Well, she doesn't see that in you now. You don't lie now.
No, I don't. But like, I genuinely believe you can't draw an apple if you've never seen an apple.
I understand that, but I also think that it's very easy to learn. I mean, I think we figure things out at a young age. You were quick to figure stuff out. Like you're always quick to figure out how to get over here without going, if the path was to go this way and up, you were going to go that way and over just because like there was no other. I mean, I'd be like, why did you do it that way? And then you would lie. I didn't. What do you mean, Zach? The steps were go this way and that. You go, I did that. No, Zach, you didn't. I literally watched you go that way and over. No, you didn't see me. Okay, Zach. The point I'm trying to make. So start with something small like that. Forgive yourself. I mean, you don't lie anymore. So,
Okay, so what does that look like though?
It looks like going, yeah, I mean, I was a liar. And lying caused a lot of heartache for people. Lying caused me to get in a lot of trouble, which caused, my parents to be upset. It caused my teachers to be upset. It was disruptive. It caused people not to trust me.
Was that the first lie that I ever told? Was that one?
Oh, God, I don't know.
What was your reaction when they found
I mean, the thing is, here's the thing. Some of the stuff is pretty funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to discipline because you're a parent. Like Zachary, you had purple nose. You were supposed to bring, you have to discipline, but on the side, you're like, like to this day, that story is hysterical. You know what I mean? Like most of the stuff, like we laugh about today because it's pretty freaking funny, but you had to be disciplined. I mean, just because it's funny, it's like, can we say Ziggy? I don't know if but it's like him.
Yeah.
He does something that might not, he's 2. And so, you go, he shouldn't do that, but you freaking laugh your ass off because it's so damn funny and he's so freaking cute. So right? True. I mean, like how many times did he do something that he shouldn't? And you go,
what was the worst lie I ever told?
The worst lie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Zach.
We're being real, raw, and authentic.
I don't know why you're going to make me say this.
If it's that bad, but how bad could it be? I'm a changed person.
Yes, you are.
So I'm not really worried about exposing that side of my life because I think it's important.
Well, I think some of the worst lies you told included other people. So I don't really want to.
Yeah,
I don't really want to say. I mean, it's not fair to bring other people into it.
That's fine.
I mean, your behavior at that time, you had people around you and you all behaved poorly.
So I know we're kind of talking about childhood, but was there a moment in your childhood you didn't understand until you were an adult?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I think so much. Like, you don't understand. I mean, you don't understand, as a teenager growing up, you don't understand curfews. You don't understand why you can't drive in cars with boys. You don't understand why, endless. You don't understand why you can't drink until you fall down. Yeah, so many things you don't understand until you get older and go, oh, well, that might be the reason why I shouldn't have done that. I mean, I could write down a list of a million things for sure. Yeah. Most of what I did, you don't understand until you're older because you're in the middle of doing it. How about you? I mean, are there things that you felt like we might have said to you as disciplinarians and then you didn't understand it until now you're an adult or now that you have a daughter?
No. And maybe it's because I'm still growing and learning and stuff. I don't know, but I think I deserved every consequence that came my way or the discipline. Like I think like I genuinely there's like
Please don't let me spit my drink out on this podcast.
no, I mean to answer that question, like I think there's certain things that I learned, but like like don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. Like those are the things that I learned from my childhood, right?
Mhm.
Like be honest.
Mhm.
That's one of the biggest ones was
Do you remember me
honesty.
saying to you the only thing, one of the things that, one of the greatest gifts you've ever been given in life is God granted you the gift to be honest?
No.
A pure life?
No.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
Oh God, I
I
used
just
to say
remember
that
you
to you all the
saying
time.
I remember you saying you have the gift of gab and I
Oh
ran with
yeah.
that shit.
Well, you wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't. I think that's a compliment. That's
No,
not,
I know it's a compliment, but
that's
I'm
not
saying like
being,
I kind of
people say
use
that to me all the time.
but I kind of used that.
You should.
But I abused it in a way, in the wrong way.
Well,
Because I was like, dude, I know I'm good. Like I've told people this, past relationships, sorry, forgive
Sorry.
me. But I've literally told people like I am a good ass liar.
Yeah.
Like it got to the point where I could lie so bad. Like when a good friend of mine, it was junior senior wars, whatever. We egged her car and we lied so hard to both the parent and her and the guy he was with at the time that we lied to the point to where it felt believable. Like
Did you lie about what the drawings on the high school wall? I still think you did that.
No, okay, look, she thinks, listen, our high school got spray painted and she genuinely, you should know me better than that.
I know,
like,
but
you should know me better that I would have no shame in telling you, yeah, mom, I did that.
Well,
Like,
I
you
know,
should
but
know
I don't
that.
know why I still feel in my gut like
That's
you did.
hilarious. That's hilarious. No, because they were drawn fucking, no.
Anyway, yeah, yes, you could. And, I think that I would start with something like that, the forgiveness in that area. You don't know. I mean, look, like I said, there's no rules. Just do what feels right.
Like, I can't even remember that. So how am I supposed to forgive myself for something that I don't even remember?
Well, it's not about the situation that I just told you about. It's about you just said you were a good ass liar. Why don't you start with forgiving yourself for that? You hurt a lot of people with those lies.
I know. But this is my point, right? Like, I think the universe, God, whatever you believe in, right, it gives you exactly what you put out. So I was a good ass liar. Now I have a daughter who is really good with her words and getting her way and that stuff. So I think like whether you forgive yourself or not, you're going to learn the lesson because there's going to be a consequence that comes with it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
but,
like, I don't necessarily, I feel like for me, I feel like it's more beneficial to learn the lesson than to forgive myself. Like it's like you said, it's happened, it's done.
Yeah.
Move on. Like fuck
Well,
it.
I think that's great to learn the lesson, but it's triggering for you. That's why you have to learn the forgiveness and the let go.
There's certain things that are for triggering, yeah.
Well, I can promise you that if she gets caught lying in school or if she gets caught selling papers or if she gets caught, whatever it is that, she might do. Although I don't think she likes school. I mean, from day one, you were a challenge in school. She's a good little girl in school, but she's going to behave. She's going to behave inappropriately. That just is going to be.
Do you ever forgive yourself before something happens?
Well, how can you? It didn't happen yet. So
well, like I know as a parent, there's going to be times where McKenna and I are going to have our disagreements, or there might be a time where I say something that I shouldn't have said. Do I need to forgive myself prior to?
No, that's up to you. You can, but I think if it were me, I would just use that as a tool to recognize that you might behave a certain way and that, maybe it'll allow you the opportunity to take a deep breath. And what's that Mel Robbins says, count to 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Like I would use it as a tool in my tool belt, knowing that that's going to be triggering for you and you're going to behave a certain way.
That comes from awareness, right?
Yeah. understanding. Yeah, learning yourself, understanding yourself. I mean, but you're human. You're human. It doesn't matter. I mean, still to this day, you might do something and I might, behave a certain way. And
Have you ever had to forgive me? Why is that funny?
because it's funny because, yeah, I've had to forgive you for everything you did.
Forgive me?
Yeah.
For my wrongdoings. You've had to forgive me for my wrongdoings.
I've had to forgive you for your behavior. And
that doesn't make sense.
Why?
I lied to you. You have to forgive me?
Because because what you did hurt me. And in order for me to heal, I have to go, okay, Zach, that's what forgiveness is. It's about allowing yourself to go, okay, so he behaved that way. So I'm going to forgive him for that. Big deal. It happened. I'm going to forgive him for that. Now I'm going to let it go. Or I'm going to let it go and I'm going to ask for the strength to forgive him. Whatever the pattern is that you decide to choose. But yeah, I mean, because your behavior directly impacted me personally. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't forgive you for the way you behaved.
Yeah, that's a stupid question.
No, it's not a stupid question at all. I mean, I get it. I get it because it's confusing. It's like, how did you have,
Like the way I saw it was like, I did something wrong. Why are you forgiving me?
Because your behavior impacted me directly. So yeah, I've had to forgive you. Sure. Yeah. Right. And, okay, let's talk about your accident, right? You were not nice to me in that hospital. And I get it, you were in pain and you were suffering, but you were not nice to me. And I had to forgive you for that because I was working my ass off to try and make you comfortable or do the right thing or make you feel better. But you were so angry. You were so angry. And I had to forgive you and let that go. What was I going to do? Hold it over your head? Like, I had to forgive you about, the incident with that party in my backyard and what that caused.
You could have joined.
You remember what that, how serious that turned out,
Yeah. That, man, that hospital scene was.
And so you hear me say that, then you're probably thinking, well, I probably need to forgive myself for behaving that way.
I would have never thought that I would have had to forgive myself for hurting you because like I've never heard that it hurt you that much.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's because I wasn't I mean, what am I going to do? Go, you hurt me. No, I mean, that's stupid. I mean, that's dumb for me to say. It's not stupid. It's just not, there's no sense in it. What would be the point in that? Are we going to carry it over? Like, I mean, if I held on to everything that we've been through since your childhood to today, we would never be sitting here. Never. Never. I mean, what did you think I did with that? Just moved on, like, okay. Yeah.
I really did. Well, again, when it comes to the hospital scene, and for those who don't know, like, I'll put a picture right here, but, to make a long story short story long, I got into 2 car accidents, same day, 12 hours apart, and it was the same exact day as my daughter's gender reveal. And the first one caused the second accident. I crashed onto 141. I crashed into Emory Hospital, into their sign. Car split into 2, had reconstructive surgery on the lower half, was in the hospital for quite some time, had to learn how to walk, use all my motor mechanic skills, basically start over at 18, 19 years old. 19, right? And yeah, I mean, I don't even really think I've processed that. Like,
I don't think you did either.
I think a lot of what has happened in my life, I just haven't necessarily. It's just kind of like move on.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the same thing. I mean, you're very resilient. You pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you just go on, right? Like,
well, it's just like what you said in the last episode. Like, what are you gonna fucking do? Stay depressed? Stay down?
Right, exactly. Like, but I think that I think what happens is later in life it rears its head, right? It starts to show up in different ways. Like, you don't know if that'll be triggering when McKenna starts to drive. Like, I didn't realize how triggering it was going to be my sister's death until you turned 19 and then you were driving at 19. I didn't realize how, she was 19 when she died in a car accident. I didn't realize that her accident was going to trigger me when you were driving at 19, and then you had a car accident at 19. That was, I mean,
that is fucking
and
wild.
then you have to go, whoa, I guess I need to do some healing here because your situation was compounded.
But do you have to forgive yourself for that trigger?
No, no, because I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't hurt anybody.
Well,
I hurt myself. No,
you hurt yourself.
Well, yeah, but I don't feel like I had to forgive myself for that. I think I just had to accept it and, understand that it happened and we need to learn from it. And, when McKenna starts to drive, you're probably going to be triggered for sure. For sure.
I didn't even think about that.
And I'll be triggered again, probably.
And we're both going to be up in the Zen room holding our
inner child. Lighting candles.
It's so
funny. Please forgive me.
So funny.
Yeah, I can imagine, I envision, all these things that we talk about, right? Like when the first time she gets in the car and drives off, you're going to be a disaster. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a scary thing.
I think 16 is way too young. Way too young.
Well, and some kids nowadays don't want to drive at 16. So, you were like me and your dad. You couldn't wait to get behind the wheel of the car. And then you didn't really understand the impact of not having kids in your car. That was a rule, right? You weren't supposed to have kids. When we were kids, there was like 15 kids in a car. Like, I don't even know how the driver was able to drive. Like, there were like 3 kids in the front seat with 1 lane across the front, and then there were 4 in the back and 1 lane. Terrible. Awful. Talk about craziness. But, you go, and then the law was you couldn't have kids in your car, but you did it all the time. And you didn't realize the consequences behind that. What if you'd gotten in an accident?
Well, I got arrested with kids in the car.
Well, that was because you were driving. Anyway. Moving on.
Well, I do have a question because this is one thing that I have battled with before, but why do I feel like shit for not protecting my energy when they're the one who hurt me?
Because it's our responsibility to protect ourselves. You go, oh God, why didn't I? Because think about it like this.
But shouldn't they fucking feel like shit for hurting?
They should. Yeah, of course they should. But I'm guessing. So are we referring to your most recent situation, or just any in general?
In general, like for example, right? Like roommate, for example, I felt like shit for certain things, right? But
like
he's. I felt like shit. There was more. Like I just gave up, and like that in a sense. I was doing that to protect my energy, but at the same time, now I feel like shit because of it.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. But okay, let's break that down. So, for those of you who don't know, the roommate that he's talking about had substance issues, and Zach tried very hard to bring him to Bible study and work out and stuff, and it would work for like a couple of days, and then it would fall off, right? Which, if anybody's experienced someone with addiction, that's a common trait. It is not your responsibility to, you've heard the story, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? In this case, he's the horse. You can lead him down the path of goodness, but you can't make him, you couldn't do that. So what are you going to do? Bang your head against the wall? And,
But do I have to forgive myself or him?
But I guess I don't understand why you're having to feel like you have to forgive yourself. You did everything you could. Okay. If you turned your back on him and you were like, dude, screw you.
But didn't I technically?
No, not at all. You didn't do that at all with him.
Even at the very end?
No. You did. How many years did you guys live together?
Going on 2.
Right. So, for all those years, you included him, asked him if he wanted to hang out. Do you want to go to Bible study with us? Do you want to go to the gym? Helping him with his son, all kinds of things. After a while, what can you do if he's not going to take the help? You can't, it's not your responsibility to keep pounding at him. It's not like you gave up on him after 2 tries. You were with him for almost 2 years doing that. You didn't stop behaving that way honestly, you didn't stop behaving that way until your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then that relationship, that individual entered your life and pretty much everything kind of went to the wayside. Well, we all did.
That was like, but that's kind of what I'm like battling with in a sense, more or less along the lines of like, I spent so much of my time there instead of like continuing to just help. And I kind of used it as like, oh, yo, stop. Sorry, we got a black lab laying under the table.
And he talks.
He's very active. But yeah, stop. Hey.
It's okay, baby.
Stop it.
Come here.
But
come here.
Lost my train of thought.
You're saying that you spent so much time there and you weren't at the house and you didn't spend, hi baby.
Yeah,
you didn't spend time.
I spent time like there, and I just remember coming home one day, and it was after you and I talked, and I was like, I know it's been a couple of days. I said, I bet you're loving the house, dude. Having it all to yourself. And he was like, nah, dude, it's lonely.
Yeah.
Like, it's lonely.
Sure. But we've also talked about, as an adult, at some point you have to take responsibility for your behavior, right? He was a grown man, and he.
You're good.
Oh, he was a grown man, and he made choices, and he chose that life. Like he look, he was hiding from everybody. Nobody even knew besides you that he was such a severe alcoholic. They thought he'd been sober for 4 years. That's someone who's deep in it and hiding. So he was, and yeah, it was lonely, but it's not your job. Let's use you and I for an example. Let's just say you get into a relationship. Is it your responsibility to make sure I'm okay, that I'm not sitting in this house by myself?
You want the God honest truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
I feel like,
why is it your responsibility to worry about what? Well,
because here's the way I see it.
Well, let me just say this: if that's your responsibility, it didn't happen, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were worried about what I was doing,
no, because here's the thing. I think it reaches a certain point to where it is now the child's responsibility to take care of the parent at a certain point in time.
Right, but I certainly hope I'm not at that point. I'm only 57. I understand that and I appreciate it. Yes, at some point it is the responsibility of the child to take care of their family, right? I get that. That's just a respect thing, and I think that happens. But I don't think that when you're a viable individual who still has the ability to take care of themselves and has their own faculties and so on and so forth, I think that's totally different. I think with him, I don't feel like, I understand where your concern comes from, and I understand where your sadness comes from, and your the pain comes from, and the guilt and the whole bit. I understand it, but I would
say I don't feel guilty. I just more like, maybe it is a form of guilt, right? Maybe it is something that I need to learn to let go of and forgive myself. But yeah, I don't think like nothing else really bothers me more than just the fact of that I go back and I just talk about the situation, and I just remember coming home and being like, yo, dude, do you like being home by yourself? And he's like, nah, man, it's fucking lonely.
Yeah. I can imagine that made you feel bad.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
But it's not your responsibility, though. He had friends and things, But
so do I have to forgive him for what happened?
I mean, I think there's a level of forgiveness there for that. I mean, he was a broken individual and he was very deeply sad. He was very deeply lonely. I mean, I asked you the other day, are you mad at him? And you said, yeah. So if you're mad at him, probably so. I would say, yeah. I would say, have some forgiveness for him. He was deeply depressed. He was very sad.
I'm not even sad about what he did. I'm sad at the fact that, like, after trying so many fucking times to extend that hand out, that, like, he didn't, he decided to not come to me in that very moment.
Well, you even picked him up that morning.
It was 4 hours after I
Yeah.
picked him up. Yeah.
Excuse me. You knew it was going to happen because you told me. You pretty much knew. I mean, what were you going to do? You didn't know that he was sitting in that room building piles and notes for everybody. You didn't know that, but you knew that. I mean, you said to me, I hope that he doesn't do that.
My words were, yesterday felt like the last day I was going to see him.
And you also said, God, I hope I don't go in the room and find him.
I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah, you said that to me. But
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to unpack with that whole situation. It's a very sad one, and I think that let's pretend. What would you do if I was an addict?
I think the circumstances are completely different, right?
Why?
Because I would literally drag you out of the house, force you in the car, and drive you somewhere. Like, that's, in my opinion, I think that's the only thing I did not do.
Yeah,
And that's something.
And so okay,
And that's something that kind of eats at me a little bit too. It's like, why didn't I? Because it's more or less along the lines of, like, if I cared about you enough, and this is probably not right, and I'm feeling guilt, or maybe it's the devil putting that in my head or whatever, but if I genuinely cared about this person as much as I say I did, why did I not go to the extent of forcing him in the car and driving him to said place for help? Even, it's just like you, when you say, you're not going to understand why I'm doing this, but I'm doing this because I love you. And one day you'll understand.
Sure, I get that. I understand that. I mean, I think that that's a very human, normal reaction.
Mhm.
I think that if you didn't think that, it would be concerning if you didn't feel that way, because it's very normal to feel that way. I don't think that's inappropriate at all. I think that is the forgiveness you're going to have to give yourself, because at the end of the day, and I know you know this, it's just hard to accept it. At the end of the day, there's nothing you could have done. And you know that. There's nothing you could have done. If someone wants to do that, they're going to do it.
Then why does the mind give so many
I think
different,
you're going down a rabbit hole that you don't need to go down.
Yeah.
That's the whys. That's
the
why
what ifs?
Yeah, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the, why do I like the color black versus the color green? Why, I mean, it's I know that sounds so crazy, but it's the same, right? Because there's no answer to that. I don't know why. I just do. Why, why does the brain work like that? I don't know. Don't worry about the why. Just, I told you this when Kimmy died, God rest his soul. One of the first things that Sean said, we were sitting on the curb, and he looked at me and he said, "Don't ask yourself why. Never ask that question why."
Remember, I asked you if there was a piece of advice.
Yeah. And that was
your answer.
That was my answer.
Like, you had 10 seconds.
It was probably the best advice I was ever given.
Don't ask
why.
Unpack that.
You can't, I mean, there's so many things that you'll never get that answer to. There's so many things that happen in life that you will never get that answer to. Ever.
So do we need to forgive ourselves for asking that question and letting it sometimes consume us?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes, sure. Like right now, what let's try not to ask that question why. Just you're going to go down a rabbit hole that is not going to it's not for your highest and best good. How about that? Ask yourself the question, is this behavior, is this spiral, are these questions for my highest and best good? If the answer is no, then I would say, okay, can you help me let it go? Can you give me the strength to let it go? That's what I would do.
And then I just watch episode 2.
Yeah, you can watch episode 2 and then 3. Oh, it's a war. Honey, you're 26. You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna go through this all over again. Like just because we're having these conversations doesn't mean that it fixes it. Doesn't mean that it changes it.
What do you mean go through it again?
I mean, we're constantly having to remind ourselves. I have to remind myself all the time
to let go,
to let go and forgive and don't ask why and always. It's an ongoing thing for the rest of your life. Sadly. It's like the lessons, right? Like,
oh man.
I mean, Bethany and I say all the time, why do we have to learn these lessons? These lessons are endless. They're endless. They're just, but that's part of the path that we chose to come here. We chose this path.
You believe that we chose like the whole entire duration?
Yeah.
So you believe that he chose that was the way his story was going to end.
Well, I think that he was probably given a couple of options and that was the way he chose to go.
And it goes back to free will?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, so here's what I've learned about death. We're not always given, the time that we cross over is not necessarily the only time we could ever cross over. We could cross over at that time and the consequence will be this. We could cross over at this time and the consequence will be this, right? So I'll give you an example. Mom told me one time she was going through her healing process and she learned that Kimmy had a couple of options. One of the options was for her to go and it was going to be her alone. And she went. Another option was if she waited and crossed over at a different time, it would have been her and Mom. And then Bob would have lost everyone at once. So, she chose to do it this way. And that was her path. And so she went down that path.
And that's predetermined?
We're not sitting here going, oh, this is, I don't think we go, oh, this is, I don't think that she said that night, oh, this is the day I'm going to die. I don't think it was like that. But I mean, that was the path that she went down and that was the outcome of it. I think that I feel like for you, when you were in that hospital, you could have died. You could have. And you chose not to. You chose to fight. And you did. You fought. Now, that could have been one of your ways to go. You weren't ready.
So you essentially haven't had a choice.
Yeah.
So why don't I remember it?
I mean, you don't remember much of that night anyway. I mean, you know that you were pulled out of that car. You don't know how. I mean, we know that Jamal pulled you from the fire once you were out of the car, but we don't know how you got out of the car.
Yeah.
We have no idea. We have our suspicions. We could say what we think it is. No one knows. I mean,
now, a tragic accident like that, is there any forgiveness that needs to happen because of that? Not saying the hospital part, like we've already talked about how I treated you and treated.
No, I don't think that you need to have forgiveness for that. I think that the forgiveness comes with, I think what I worry about is that you don't realize the impact of that accident and sometimes you behave recklessly driving still. You text and drive. You do things that probably are not in your best interest. Because you have overcome the severity of it to a degree.
I think a part of it too is like when it's my time, it's my time. I can't control it.
Well, so, I agree. I mean,
what am I gonna?
I agree, but you can contribute to it.
That's a good one. God, right? That's good.
I mean, you're right. I mean, but think about if all of us walked around the world thinking, well, when it's my time, and we behaved completely recklessly, right? Like that, like that is because you're not you, but reckless behavior can impact. Maybe that doesn't impact you. Maybe you don't kill yourself, but you kill somebody else. Imagine that. Wow. How awful would that be? Then you'd really have to do some forgiving.
Mm.
You know, so think about that. Like when you say, oh, well, I only had one drink. Well, but you know what? It's still a drink. You're not, driving after smoking weed. Well, I pay better attention. I pay better attention to the road when I'm stoned. Really? I used to say that. That's not true. We can look at that video when the officer is like, how high are you? Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Why are you stopped at the stop sign? Waiting for it to say go?
We're waiting for it to turn green. Do you want some Doritos?
Yeah, that's the sobriety test. Was they said, "Do you want Doritos or healthy food?" And she goes to reach for the Dorito. Oh, that's so funny.
It is funny. It's funny to laugh about, but at the end of the day,
though.
Yeah. I mean, if you watched McKenna, smoke a weed pen and walk out the door and get in her car, you'd be a disaster. And she said to you, Dad, I pay better attention when I drive after smoking weed. Yeah, okay. You can be like, yeah, okay, it's McKenna. Oh, well, if that's the case, here you go. Have some more. Make sure that you keep smoking it as you drive down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. It's ridiculous.
When you put it like that, it's fucking absurd.
Yeah.
It really is. Oh, man.
I know. Let me put my glasses on. I've got a question for you.
Okay. By the way.
How long have we been doing this? Is it
1:15, hour 15. I like the durate. I don't care. I'll take the feedback, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do anything with it.
Dun, 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 What's the hardest thing you've ever had to forgive?
What's the hardest thing that I've ever had to forgive? The thing is I don't feel like I fully forgave. Right? Completely.
In any scenario?
I've never understood forgiveness. I always felt like to answer your question directly, no. I haven't I don't think I can even answer that question because I don't think I have forgiven the hardest thing. And the hardest thing was first relationship, right? And that type of just like how it ended and how I was in that relationship, just the outcome of it. I'm happy that it happened because now it allows me to have a relationship with McKenna that I would have never had. So there's that.
Yeah.
At the same time, it goes back to there's still anger because it's kind of like what we talked about, right? It's like if you were in a serious relationship and they do some shit or they just up and move on to the next, it's like there's anger.
Sure, I understand that. But at the same time, we've talked about this. It takes two to make a relationship and it takes two to break a relationship. I mean, I would say that, yeah, there was inappropriate behavior.
I think it takes two to break a relationship.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, because
Let's talk about we don't have to talk about it, but Christmas last year, that did not take two. That took one.
I understand. Well, that's true. That's true.
That took one.
Okay. You're right.
Now, it may have taken two because you allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's still his action.
Mm.
And they're like,
that's
you
true.
Can't control that.
No, you're right. But I think in the situation that you're referencing, I mean, you're not innocent in that relationship.
Not at all.
So I don't think that it's fair to put it all on her.
No, and I'm not saying that at all.
So I
but
think
the question
there needs to be forgiveness for yourself too, for how you behaved. And a lot of her reaction was stemmed from your behavior, right? Like let's if we're going to talk about it honestly, let's talk about it honestly. You're going to call a spade a spade.
For sure.
You were young and your behavior was not the best either, right? So
100%.
She was young and her behavior wasn't, stellar. Mm-hmm. You're different now. You guys are different people.
Yeah.
But I understand, sure. I think that it escalated and it didn't need to escalate the way it did, right?
Well, let's put it this way. Like, I don't think I can forgive, but I don't know. This is one of those things where, and I hate when people say, forgive, but I won't forget, or I won't forgive, but I won't forget it, or whatever the fucking
whatever
thing
the
is.
saying is, yeah.
It's just more along the lines of like, if you will forgive that person, but you're not going to forget it, then did you actually forgive that person?
Yeah, I mean, that can happen, sure, because how can you forget it? I mean, it was 7 years of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't forget. You're not going to forget. You're not going to forget what actually took place, but you can go, okay, we both were wrong in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have blown up the way I did and put her and my daughter in an environment that made her fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she, should have listened to me and take a deep breath and, know that you weren't going to hurt you weren't going to hurt her. But she was scared. I've told you that before. You're big and you're loud and you're scary.
And we're passionate.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it comes from having a deep passion. We're emotional, passionate beings, right? But that doesn't change the fact that the person on the receiving end doesn't have to accept that or understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that were the case, then I could say what happened at Christmas was passion. He was passionate about how he felt.
I think passion can be shown in multiple different ways.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Angry, happy, loud, quiet. Like,
yeah.
I feel like there's multiple ways, but did that answer your question, kind of?
Yeah. Okay.
Put them glasses on, the readers. Got to pull out the readers.
I think I want to hear the answer to this one more. This is gonna hit hard. Oh. Do you believe you can forgive someone without an apology? This is exactly what you and I talked about. And then part 2 is, what about without a consequence?
Oh. Do you think you can forgive someone without an apology?
So someone behaves a certain way and they don't apologize to you. And then let's say they do apologize, but there's no consequence for them.
I've had to ask myself similar stuff like this because I think human, again, we're here having that human experience, like you say, but the human reaction is, I want consequences for your actions and for what you did and how you hurt me.
Right.
However, I have to work on letting that go because I don't necessarily feel like the wrongdoings that any person did, right, goes unnoticed by the higher power, and there will be some sort of consequence.
Sure.
Somewhere.
Yes.
And now if I force a consequence because of their wrongdoing, goes back to what I said earlier, now I'm letting that person and their emotions and their actions control me.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
So
that's good. No, I agree with
now,
that.
do I think that there needs to be an apology? If we're talking about that, yeah. Right? But
what good does that apology do for you, though?
It doesn't. I think it goes back to just human. Like, we want that.
Yeah.
But again, right? Like, and it doesn't even have to be strictly about that, but I think that some apologies, they don't hold any type of weight.
Right. Like, I feel like that apology wouldn't hold any weight.
It wouldn't. It most definitely wouldn't. And quite frankly, it goes back to what I said. It's like, I don't even want that in my vicinity.
Yeah.
Right? So keep it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like, fucking keep it.
And I don't know if it's because it's very raw right now. Maybe. And it still feels really hurtful and unexcusable.
Well, I mean, again, right, we don't have to go too deep in it, but it is completely unexcusable. I mean,
it's very unexcusable. So I don't know who knows how, it's still very fresh, right? I mean, you were on the tail end of that scenario when you went into the situation with your roommate, which is what's scary about how how hurt you are, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this, I think this kind of goes into, what did we say? What did we say that we were going to do for number 4? Oh yeah, episode 4, rebuilding yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to talk about rebuilding yourself on episode 4, but at the same time, like, I don't think, God, man, that's hard to say.
What's hard to say? I'm not sure. What do you what are you so deep in thought over?
Well, it's like, I don't think you can rebuild until you process what happened. So it's like, okay, we have the car accident. Yeah. We have this. We have what happened in the first relationship. We have all of these things. Just boom, 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 boom.
So you
boom,
don't
boom,
think
boom,
that you've rebuilt yourself at all?
I think I've rebuilt myself, but I don't think I've healed.
Yeah. Well, I think it.
And
yeah.
I think in order to fully rebuild,
okay,
there has to be a version of healing. Like,
Sure.
you have to heal from it.
Yeah, I agree.
But instead of like healing, goes back to what we kind of talked about in the last episode. Instead of healing, it's now fuel and anger.
Yeah.
And that anger and that fuel pushes me to be a better person.
Sure.
Instead of actually being healed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you can use it as fuel, but you still need to heal it. Yeah. I understand. It's hard.
I think pain and anger is the best motivator, though.
It is a good motivator. I agree, but it's also very dangerous. Because let's look at the last relationship I was in. There was a lot of anger that built up over the years, and it was dangerous.
Mm.
It turned into something that was less than pleasant for everybody. And if you don't let go of that anger,
have you had to forgive?
That's a good question. You know what? I forgave myself. I'm working on forgiving myself for allowing that to be in my home. Because I remember saying, to a friend, I can't believe that person, that behavior was in my,
your energy,
in my space for a lot of years. And I just put it in my little wagon. The red flag, I just...
You love that little red wagon.
I put it in my red wagon, yeah. I mean, I should have paid closer attention. I should have responded to the red flags sooner. Mm. But I mean, on the flip side of that, he was a very kind, loving individual. There was a lot of goodness in that individual. A lot of goodness. It was just unfortunate that the anger, that's why you have to be careful with letting that anger fuel you, because if you don't pay attention to it, it's going to rear its ugly head in a time and place that you don't want it to, if you don't address it. That's what I think. Think about what we just went through, last Christmas. That's a good example to use to think about, an individual who didn't let go of anger and pain and sadness that had built up over the years. Yeah. And it became very reckless.
Well, Mother, that was fun. Mm. That was fun.
Yeah.
Were you kind of like me, where you're like, how do you do this or that?
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. I mean,
when at one point were you like, okay, it doesn't matter, like, how I
just kept listening to my teacher. He just kept saying, there's no rules. And he wasn't the only teacher, like you said, like I follow some of the greats like Gabriella Bernstein. I've said that name to you, there's a lot of people out there that you can follow and read. And, used to laugh at me and say, well, there she is watching Joel Osteen again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting there watching him now, but that was helpful to me at the beginning stages of my journey. I mean, if that's what I needed to do, that's what I needed to do.
It's crazy that like you gravitated towards him, but isn't he like more of like a...
Well, he's a preacher, yeah. But
but it wasn't like a preacher of like your main teacher.
My main teacher
your hairstylist
is a spiritualist.
But what I'm saying is that Joel wasn't that.
No, No. He was,
So how
but
did you?
well, because his messages were very similar, his messages were about, I mean, the difference was he would read from the Bible, like maybe a story, and then he would talk about the message. And I felt like I could, his messages, his stories resonated with me. It's kind of like when you've gone to church,
For sure.
you went to church for all those many months or whatever, or Bible study or whatever. A lot of those stories resonated with you, but you also knew that wasn't like you weren't long term. You knew deep inside you weren't going to go to church every Sunday. I mean, you like to go every now and then. It's a place where you like to go with your friends or whatever, or gather, and you liked some of the messages. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to say 5 Hail Marys and go to confession. I think that's the challenge I have with religion. Like, they're structured. You have to do it. They say you've got to do it a certain way or it's not going to work. And that's where people go, well, what if I don't do it the right way? Well, I mean, I just don't believe that it has to happen that way.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm bash religion, but I think the religion was man created, right? And it wasn't about religion. It was about the relationship.
Yeah. And so if you're finding that going to church at a specific church, you can resonate with the stories or things that they say to you are impactful to you, then that's great. I love that for you. But you don't have to behave a certain way in order for you to have a happy, peaceful life. Well, that sounds wrong. You do have, you have, the 10 Commandments, right? Do not do this, thou shalt not cheat, thou shalt not, all those things. I'm talking about, like, you don't have to sage your house, and you don't have to be someone that has a Zen room. That just happens to be how we do it. But that doesn't mean that Joe next door has to do it that way. He has to do it. I mean, he might find peace at church. Whatever works for the individual is what it's about.
Any final words before we let the people go, Mother?
No, just, forgive, love.
And like she always says, it's a fucking journey.
We're all on it. We're all on it. You just got to take it one step at a time.
That is so, so true. Well, Mother.
All right, honey.
Episode 3, forgiveness. Guys, don't forget, check. Don't forget, like, subscribe. Isn't that funny? Now we're you see right there.
Email questions.
Yeah, email, guys. Here's my number down below, 770-823-2138. If you guys can send me video submissions there. If you feel down and need someone to talk to, please reach out. There's so many people in this world that would be honored to help you out. I'm one of them. I know you're one of them. This is why we are here.
We're all in this together.
It's a safe place, guys. We're all learning together. We're all growing. And don't forget to follow us on social media, mfm.podcast. We upload weekly videos. And stay tuned. We got a lot coming. Episode 4.
Reinvent yourself.
Rebuilding.
Yeah, rebuilding.
Guys, peace.